Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17, Maharaj Pṛthu becomes angry. So this is session 3 of the story of Pṛthu Maharaj. So far, we have covered 4 chapters, starting with chapter 13. In chapter 13, we saw a description of the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. In that, we read about King Anga and how he didn't have any children. And on the advice of sages, he performed a sacrifice. And as a result of that sacrifice, he was able to get a son called Vena. However, this son turned out to be very cruel because Anga's wife Sunita was not good, because her father was very cruel. He was like death personified. So a girl inherits the qualities of her father and a boy inherits the qualities of the mother. Therefore, Vena inherited the qualities of his mother, who inherited the qualities of her father, who was a cruel person. Therefore, Vena was very cruel. And in that chapter, we saw how Anga, even though he tried to reform his son, he failed and he became very despondent. And after that, he got this realization that this was the Lord's blessing, that he didn't have a good son. Therefore, he's able to become detached from family life. So he just left home without telling anyone. So that was chapter 13. Then in chapter 14, which is entitled The Story of King Vena, we saw that after Anga left, the citizens looked for him everywhere. They couldn't find him. And because the kingdom didn't have a king, now the rogues, thieves started plundering the citizens. So seeing this condition, the sages headed by Bhrigu Muni got together, because the sages are compassionate for the people, and they decided that they will coronate Vena as the king. And they were thinking that they will reform Vena by their guidance. However, the ministers of Vena, the ministers of Anga, who were aware of the cruelness of Vena, disagreed with the sages. But the sages coronated Vena anyway. Of course, because Vena was very cruel and he was a king, so naturally the thieves and rogues in the kingdom were kept under control. Out of fear of Vena, they all hid here and there. But the problem was Vena stopped all sacrifices. He went around or sent his servants making announcements that nobody should perform any yagyas. They should all worship him. He is the Supreme Lord. Now, when there are no yagyas performed, then there is no dharma, then nobody can survive properly. There is no food, there is starvation, and the whole system was topsy-turvy. Seeing this condition, the sages once again got together and they saw that, so seeing the condition, the deplorable condition of the citizens, the sages decided that they will have a talk with Vena and give him some good advice and try to reform him. After all, they were the ones that coronated him. So now it is their responsibility. They have to share the sinful reaction of causing adharma in the kingdom. So they also decided that if Vena didn't listen to them, then they will remove him from the throne. The only way to remove him from the throne is to kill him. So they tried, and although they were very angry externally, they tried to smilingly, they praised King Vena and they tried to give him some good sense, saying how religious, if he performed religious duties, if he allowed the citizens to perform religious duties, it was to his own benefit, how all prosperity would come by performing sacrifices when the demigods are satisfied, when the Supreme Lord is satisfied. Dharma, artha, kama, right? All your, you'll get artha, and with which you can be happy, you can satisfy your senses in this way. But instead of taking the good advice of Vena, of the sages, Vena became angry with them, saying that you are all misguided. I am your Lord, Supreme Lord. I'm maintaining you just like a wife is supposed to, a chaste wife is supposed to serve her husband who maintains her, and leaving her husband if she looks for another paramour. This is not right. Similarly, I am your Supreme Lord, I am providing for you, and leaving me, you want to go and worship other demigods and some other Supreme Lord. What is this? When the sages heard this, they understood he cannot be reformed. So simply by uttering a sound like, huh, they just killed Vena. Vena was dead. So of course they got rid of Vena, but then the problem was once again the thieves and rogues started plundering because now there is no king. So a kingdom should not be without a king, without a ruler. A powerful Kshatriya ruler has to be there. So one day these sages, after killing Vena, they took their bath in the river Saraswati and they sat down to do their, uh, you know, philosophical discussion, when all of a sudden they saw dust storm raising. So this dust storm was because of the thieves going on their horses here and there. So then they decided, oh my God, now we need to install a king. And when Vena was killed, his mother Sunita preserved his body in oils, hoping that he will come back to life. So she kept his body. So the sages decided that Vena is born from Anga, from the semen of Anga. Anga is a great devotee of the Lord. So in Vena's body, there is Anga's potency because that body is produced from Anga's semen. Therefore, it has the propensity to produce devotees, to attract devotees, spirit souls. So therefore, they decided to churn Vena's body to produce a child, the next king. So first of all, they churned the thighs of the dead body of Vena, and a black person called Bahuka came, who took charge of all the sinful activities, the remaining sinful activities of Vena, and he went away. Then after that, they churned the right and left arms of the dead body of Vena and appeared Pṛthu Maharaj. So that was chapter 14, the story of King Vena. Then we read chapter 15, which is the appearance of King Pṛthu and his coronation. So there we saw, by churning the right and left arms of Vena, a male and female appeared. The male was a partial incarnation, Shaktyavesh avatar of Lord Vishnu, or Lord Vishnu's potency. What potency? Ruling potency, because this is King Pṛthu. He's a ruler, he's a king. So the ruling potency of the Supreme Lord, a partial portion of the ruling potency of the Supreme Lord appeared as King Pṛthu. And similarly, a portion of Lakshmi Devi appeared as Archi. So a male and female appeared. So when they appeared, the sages saw the symbols on the palms and the soles of Pṛthu Maharaj and Archi, and they recognized that this is actually an incarnation, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And they also foretold what would be the activities of Pṛthu Maharaj. Actually, not yet, but they recognize that this is the Supreme Lord, a partial representation of the Supreme Lord. Then all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, as well as inhabitants of other planets, Gandharvas, Apsaras, etc., they all appeared. Actually, when Pṛthu Maharaj appeared, they started raining flowers. The Gandharvas were singing, Apsaras were dancing, like that. Then Lord Brahma came and he confirmed by seeing the symbols on the soles and the palms of Pṛthu Maharaj that yes, this is actually an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Then different demigods came and offered gifts to Pṛthu Maharaj. Different personalities, not just the demigods, but Lord Brahma, then Dharma, Yamaraj, Lord Shiva, Parvati Devi, everybody came and gave him gifts. Somebody gave him a garland, someone gave him a chariot and an umbrella, like that, bows and arrows, sword and shield, like that. So after that, the reciters, Vandis and Magadas, Sutas, they came to glorify Pṛthu Maharaj about his wonderful activities. But when they came to glorify, Pṛthu Maharaj stopped them and said, I just appeared. I haven't done anything. What will you glorify me for? I didn't do anything. So there were lessons there also, how for an intelligent person, for a noble person, an honorable person, if somebody glorifies him for activities which he didn't do, that is actually an insult. He would not accept glorification which does not belong to him. Just like a noble person would not accept blame for what he didn't do, similarly, an intelligent person will not accept glorification of things which he didn't do. So Pṛthu Maharaj said, you can glorify me when I do those things in future, not now, like that. And even then, you can go and glorify about those activities in front of someone else, not in front of me, like that. But even though Pṛthu Maharaj said all this, with that chapter ended, chapter 15. And then in chapter 16, we saw these reciters, professional reciters, they recited anyway. And they said, because Pṛthu Maharaj's fear was that if they glorified him and if he didn't do those activities, their words would become a lie. He didn't want their words to become a lie, false. So now the reciters are saying, we are not afraid that our words will be false because we have been inspired directly by the sages. They are inspiring us to glorify you in this way. So our words are backed up by the sages. They won't become false. Don't worry. And they went on to glorify Pṛthu Maharaj. So there they said, of the many wonderful things, they said that Pṛthu Maharaj is going to milk the earth, who would, first of all, he will be angry at earth And then he will also milk her and bring out all the things which she's hiding in her womb. And so that's one thing. Making different personalities as calves. No, he will be the calf, but different personalities would come with their pots. Pṛthu Maharaj would be the calf of the cow, and then the earth will give whatever she's hiding inside, which is useful for different personalities. Then another thing is he would perform sacrifices, 100 horse sacrifices, actually 99. Then also how he would be instructed by Sanat Kumar, and he will level the earth because the earth has highs and lows. He will level the earth with the tip of his bow, like that. So in this way, that chapter concluded with the professional reciters glorifying Pṛthu Maharaj. And after that, after listening to all this, I think that's all. We just read about what they had to say about Pṛthu Maharaj. So today we are going to read chapter 17, and this chapter is entitled Maharaj Pṛthu becomes angry at the earth. So let me share the screen. Maharaj Pṛthu becomes angry at the earth. So text 1. The great sage Maitreya continued, in this way the reciters who were glorifying Maharaj Pṛthu readily described his qualities and chivalrous activities. At the end, Maharaj Pṛthu offered them various presentations with all due respect and worshipped them adequately. Text 2. King Pṛthu, thus satisfied and offered all respect to all the leaders of the Brahmanas and other castes, to his servants, to his ministers, and to the priests, citizens, general countrymen, people from other communities, admirers, and others, and thus they all became happy. So he satisfied them and offered them all respects. Who? Everyone, the leaders of the Brahmanas and other castes. So first he offered respects to the leaders, then to his servants, to his ministers, to his priests, to the citizens in general, countrymen, then people from other communities, and his admirers, his fans, and others. And he satisfied everyone, and they all became happy. Text 3. Vidura inquired from the great sage Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, since Mother Earth can appear in different shapes, why did she take the shape of a cow? And when King Pṛthu milked her, who became the calf? And what was the milking pot? So, amongst the various glorifications recited by the reciters, one was that Pṛthu Maharaj would milk the earth, who would be in the shape of a cow. So hearing that, Vidura is asking that Mother Earth can appear in any form. Why did she come in the form of a cow only? And when she became a cow, whenever you see a cow, cow will have a calf, and that's when she'll give milk. So it is said that Pṛthu Maharaj milked her. So if he milked her, who was the calf? And what was the milking pot in which he milked? Text 4. The surface of the earth is by nature low in some places and high in others. How did King Pṛthu level the surface of the earth? And why did the king of heaven, Indra, steal the horse meant for the sacrifice? So when we read that he would perform 99 sacrifices, actually he was supposed to perform 100 sacrifices. But in the 100th sacrifice, Indra stole the horse so that Pṛthu Maharaj would not be able to complete 100 sacrifices. You know why? Why? Yes. Anyone who performs 100 sacrifices, Ashwamedha Yagyas, horse sacrifices, is now qualified to become Indra. He'll be the next Indra. So Indra didn't want to lose his seat. So therefore, when Pṛthu Maharaj completed 99, he became worried. So he stole the horse which was meant for the sacrifice. So here Vidurji is asking, why did King Indra steal the horse meant for the sacrifice? Text 5. The great saintly king Maharaj Pṛthu received knowledge from Sanat Kumar, who was the greatest Vedic scholar. After receiving knowledge to be applied practically in his life, how did the saintly king attain his desired destination? So this is the other thing. After we receive transcendental knowledge, it's not like Ayaram, Gayaram, right? You heard with this year and you left it with the other year. No, it's not supposed to be like that. You hear it and you take it into your heart and then you apply it in your life. So Vidurji is asking, the great saintly king Pṛthu Maharaj received knowledge from Sanat Kumar. After receiving that knowledge, how did he apply it practically in his life? And how did he achieve his desired destination? By applying that, how did he get, what was the destination? How did he get his final destination? Text 6 and 7. Pṛthu Maharaj was a powerful incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. Consequently, any narration concerning his activities is surely very pleasing to hear, and it produces all good fortune. Yes? Shinvatam swakatha Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha. Simply hearing about the activities or name or qualities or pastimes of the Supreme Lord, that activity, that hearing about his activity itself is a pious activity. Shinvatam swakatha Krishnaha punya shravana kirtanaha. Such hearing and chanting itself is a pious activity. And what happens by that? Hridyantasto hyabhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Right? So whatever inauspiciousness or whatever garbage there is in the heart gets cleansed simply by hearing about the activities of the Supreme Lord. So Vidurji is saying, Pṛthu Maharaj is an incarnation of Lord Krishna's potencies. Consequently, any narration concerning his activities is surely very pleasing to hear, and it produces all good fortune. As far as I am concerned, I am always your devotee as well as a devotee of the Lord, who is known as Adhokshaja. Please therefore narrate all the stories of King Pṛthu in the form of the son of King Vena milked the cow-shaped earth. Who in the form of the son of King Vena milked the cow-shaped earth. So tell me everything about Pṛthu Maharaj, because he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, of the potency of the Supreme Lord. So any of his activities will be all beneficial for everyone and very pleasing to hear. So please tell me everything about Pṛthu Maharaj. Text 8. Suta Goswami continued. You see, one time we hear Maitreya Muni and Vidurji are speaking, and again Suta Goswami and Shaunakadi Rishis. So you should remember, Suta Goswami, Shaunakadi Rishis are sitting at Naimisharanya. And in that, Suta Goswami is quoting what was said by Sukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. And within that, Sukadev Goswami is quoting Maitreya Muni, whatever Maitreya Muni said to Vidurji. And now Maitreya Muni is going to tell about Pṛthu Maharaj. So that is why sometimes, now who's telling us? Who's telling all this to us? Who's speaking to us? Vyasdev, he is the author of Bhagavatam. So Vyasdev, sometimes he will zoom in and he will zoom out. So when he zooms in, you see Maitreya Muni speaking to Vidurji, or Pṛthu Maharaj is saying something. And when he zooms out, you'll see sometimes Sukadev Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj, or if he zooms out more, you will see Suta Goswami speaking to Shaunakadi Rishis. So now Suta Goswami continued. When Vidura became inspired to hear of the activities of Lord Krishna in his various incarnations, Vidura is inspired. Maitreya also, being inspired and being very pleased with Vidura, began to praise him. Then Maitreya spoke as follows. So when you have a very good listener, the speaker becomes enlivened to glorify the Supreme Lord. So Vidurji is so eager to hear. And how do you know that the listener is eager? when they're asking questions, genuine questions, wanting to know more, this, and what type of questions? The questions should not result in non-devotional activities or talks, mundane talks. Like if you ask a question whose answer is some mundane talk, that's not nice. Rather, here we see that's the quality of the listener, right? When you have an exalted listener, he will ask such questions that the answers to those questions will enliven everyone in devotional service. That is why the speaker becomes very inspired when they ask such wonderful questions. We see time and again. Sutta Goswami, Maitreya Muni is glorifying Vidurji for his questions. Sukadev Goswami glorifies Parikshit Maharaj. Sutta Goswami glorifies Shaunakadi Rishis. So when Maitreya Muni heard Vidurji's question, what did Vidurji say? What did he ask? What did he want to hear? Yes, he wanted to know all about Pṛthu Maharaj because Pṛthu Maharaj is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord's potency. So it is very pleasing to hear and it is very, very beneficial, all auspicious. So hearing this, and also he asked questions. Why? So that also shows when you ask questions, it also shows that you've been listening attentively. Your questions will be related to what was spoken before. So the reciters had said, what all they said, that Sanat Kumar, they will come and speak to Pṛthu Maharaj. Pṛthu Maharaj will perform 99 sacrifices, but Indra will steal a horse. And also Pṛthu Maharaj will milk the cow, the earth in the form of a cow. So Vidura was hearing all this attentively. That's why he's asking that, oh, Pṛthu Maharaj milked the earth in the form of a cow. Why did the earth become a cow only? She could have come in some other form. Why only a cow? And when he milked the earth, who was the calf? And what were the milk pots? Like that. So he's asking questions. So hearing these questions and also his eagerness to hear everything about Pṛthu Maharaj, Maitreya Muni became very inspired and very pleased with Vidura, and he started to praise Vidura. Then he spoke as follows. Text 9. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, remember Vidura is the next generation. Maitreya Muni is the contemporary of Vyasdev. Vidura is the son of Vyasdev. So Maitreya Muni is senior. So Maitreya Muni is saying, my dear Vidura, like my dear son, Jaisa, my dear Vidura, at the time King Pṛthu was enthroned by the great sages and brahmanas and declared to be the protector of the citizens, there was a scarcity of food grains. The citizens actually became skinny due to starvation. Therefore, they came before the king and informed him of their real situation. So now Maitreya Muni begins. Why Pṛthu Maharaj had to milk the earth? Why the earth even took the form of a cow? So to explain that, to answer that question, now Maitreya Muni begins like this. When Pṛthu Maharaj actually appeared, and you know, all the demigods were giving him gifts and he's coronated as the king at that time, the citizens also came, but they were all so skinny because of starvation. Why? Because the previous king, Vena, had stopped all sacrifices. Without sacrifices, there are no rains. Without rains, there's no food. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhavaha yagyad bhavati parjanyo yagya karma samudbhava. Without yagya, there won't be any food. So they were all starving. They became skinny. So they came and they were asking, you are our king, please give us food. We are dying of starvation. Text 10 and 11. Dear king, just as a tree with a fire burning in the hollow of the trunk gradually dries up, we are drying up due to the fire of hunger in our stomachs. You are the protector of surrendered souls, and you have been appointed to give employment to us. Therefore, we have all come to you for protection. You are not only a king, but the incarnation of God as well. Indeed, you are the king of all kings. You can give us all kinds of occupational engagements, for you are the master of our livelihood. Therefore, O King of all kings, please arrange to satisfy our hunger by the proper distribution of food grains. Please take care of us, lest we soon die for want of food. If you don't provide food to us, we are going to die. And you give us employment, right? What we are supposed to do. Text 12. After hearing this lamentation and seeing the pitiable condition of the citizens, King Pṛthu contemplated this matter for a long time to see if he could find out the underlying causes. So when he saw that they were all so skinny and hungry, he's wondering, what is the reason for this? Huh? So he contemplated for a long time. Text 13. Having arrived at a conclusion, the king took up his bow and arrow and aimed them at the earth. So he figured out who's the cause for this situation. He took up his bow and arrow and aimed his arrow at the earth, exactly like Lord Shiva, who destroys the whole world out of anger. So Pṛthu Maharaj is angry, and angrily he aimed his arrow at the earth. When the earth, text 14, when the earth saw that King Pṛthu was taking his bow and arrow to kill her, she became very much afraid and began to tremble. She then began to flee, exactly like a deer, which runs very swiftly when followed by a hunter. Being afraid of King Pṛthu, she took the shape of a cow and began to run. Because killing cow, go hatya, is a sin. And how will a king, right? And what to speak of King Pṛthu, who is an incarnation of the Lord, how would he kill a cow, right? So therefore, she took the form of a cow to save herself from being killed. Text 15. And she was running also. Taking the shape of a cow, she was running. Text 15. Seeing this, Maharaj Pṛthu became very angry. He became even angrier that she took the shape of a cow. And his eyes became as red as the early morning sun. Placing an arrow on his bow, he chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she would go. So he didn't spare her because she is now in the form of a cow. He just was still aiming his arrow and chasing after the cow-shaped earth as she was running. The cow-shaped earth ran here and there in outer space between the heavenly planets and the earth, and wherever she ran, the king chased her with his bow and arrows. So if you remember, like Durvasa Muni, he was running everywhere to save himself from Sudarshan Chakra. But no matter where he went, he could feel the heat of Sudarshan Chakra on his back. Similarly, here the earth is running, but wherever she went, she was going in outer space too. But wherever she went, if she turned around, she would see Pṛthu Maharaj behind her with the arrow aimed at her. The king chased her with his bow and arrows. Text 17. Just as a man cannot escape the cruel hands of death, the cow-shaped earth could not escape the hands of the son of Vena. At length, the earth, fearful, her heart aggrieved, turned back in helplessness. So she ran here and there, and finally she understood she could not get away from Pṛthu Maharaj. So finally, being very fearful and very tired and aggrieved, she stopped running and she turned around in helplessness. Text 18. Addressing the great opulent King Pṛthu as the knower of religious principles and shelter of the surrendered, she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet." So she turned around and she said, "You are the knower of religious principles. So according to religious principles, you cannot kill a cow. You know the religious principles, or knower of religious principles." And she surrendered also. So he's the knower of religious principles, and she surrendered to him. So when someone takes shelter of you, surrenders to you, you cannot kill that person. And she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet." The cow-shaped earth continued to appeal to the king. "I am very poor and have not committed any sinful activities. I do not know why you want to kill me. Since you are supposed to be the knower of all religious principles, why are you so envious of me, and why are you so anxious to kill a woman?" Right? Earth is a woman, and now she's a cow on top of that. And being the knower of religious principles, and she didn't commit any sin. So she's wondering why he wants to kill her. Text 20. Even if a woman does commit some sinful activity, no one should place his hand upon her. And what to speak of you, dear king, who are so merciful? You are a protector and you are affectionate to the poor. right? You cannot beat a woman. What to speak of killing a woman? That's not the religious principle. And what to speak of, sometimes low class men may do something like that, but here is the king. How can he act like that? How can he go against religious principles and kill a woman? Text 21. The cow-shaped earth continued, My dear king, I'm just like a strong boat, and all the paraphernalia of the world is standing upon me. If you break me to pieces, how can you protect yourself and your subjects from drowning? So at first she was begging for mercy, and then she's saying, if you kill me, you will not have any support to stand on. So by killing me, you're actually hurting yourself. You won't have any place to stand on. I am the earth. Huh? And then what about all the people, your subjects? They will not have any place to stand on. So then what does Pṛthu Maharaj say to this? King Pṛthu replied, text 22, to the earthly planet, My dear earth, you have disobeyed my orders and rulings. In the form of a demigod, you accepted your share of the yagyas we performed, but in return, you have not produced sufficient food grains. For this reason, I must kill you. So now Pṛthu Maharaj is saying, what is the fault of the earth? Earth is also, there is a presiding deity for every planet. So Earth, Bhumi Devi, is the presiding deity for this Earth planet. And all the demigods, they get a share when yagya is performed. So when Pṛthu Maharaj performed yagyas, or when all the kings perform yagyas, by that yagya, all the demigods get a share. So you have taken your share when yagya was performed, and after that, they should, being satisfied by that yagya, now the demigods will provide. Each demigod has their particular department. So Bhumi Devi, earth gives us grains, minerals like that, fruits, vegetables, flowers. So you have taken your share of yagya, but you have not given food grains in return. This is sin. Therefore, I must kill you, Pṛthu Maharaj is saying. Although you are eating green grass every day, because now she's in the form of a cow, he's saying, although you're eating green grass every day, you are not filling your milk bag. So we cannot use, so we can utilize your milk. Huh? So if you fill your milk bag, we can take your milk. You're eating grass, but you're not giving any milk. Since you are willfully committing offenses, it cannot be said that you are not punishable due to your assuming the form of a cow. So just because you become a cow, you don't become sinless. You're committing an offense purposely. Text 24. You have so lost your intelligence that despite my orders, you do not deliver the seeds of herbs and grains formerly created by Brahma and now hidden within yourself. So, at the beginning of creation, Brahmaji follows the blueprint. What is that? That is there in the Vedas. What are the different grains and foods and species, planets? Everything is there already. The blueprint is there in the Vedas. Following that, he creates. And who's supposed to do what? So earth is supposed to give us grains, and what are all the different types of grains and fruits? That's already there. So here Pṛthu Maharaj is saying that you do not deliver the herbs and grains formerly created by Brahma and now hidden within yourself. Even though I ordered you, you are not doing it. Now with the help of my arrows, I shall cut you to pieces. And with your flesh, satisfy the hunger-stricken citizens who are now crying for want of grains. Thus I shall satisfy the crying citizens of my kingdom. Because you didn't give them grains, now they are starving. See, we also read Pṛthu Maharaj will treat all his citizens like his children. He will be like a father to his citizens. So, in front of a father's eyes, if all the children are starving and they're about to die due to starvation, how does the father feel? That's how Pṛthu Maharaj is feeling for his citizens. And he's saying, I will cut you and I will feed your flesh to my citizens. Thus I shall satisfy the crying citizens of my kingdom. 26. Any cruel person, be he a man, a woman, or impotent eunuch, who is only interested in his personal maintenance and has no compassion for other living entities may be killed by the king. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman. If you're selfish, only interested in your personal maintenance and have no compassion for others, then Pṛthu Maharaj is saying such a person may be killed by the king. Such killing can never be considered actual killing. Next 27. You are very much puffed up with pride and have become almost insane. Presently, you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. So, you are saying if I killed you, there won't be any place for me or my citizens to stand on. You don't have to worry. I will kill you, and after killing you, I will create my own platform with my mystic powers. He's an incarnation. Shakti Avatar. Text 28. At this time, Pṛthu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj, and his whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. After hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. She surrendered and with folded hands began to speak as follows. So the last thing that the Earth said was that if you kill me, you will be at loss. But when she heard him that I don't need you, I can, by my own mystic power, I can protect my citizens and I can have my own platform. And he looked so angry, she started trembling in fear. And now the earth is speaking. The planet Earth spoke, My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are transcendental in your position, and by your material energy, you have expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the interaction of the three modes of material nature. Unlike some other masters, you always remain in your transcendental position and are not affected by the material creation, which is subject to different material interactions. Consequently, you are not bewildered by material activities. So this is very important verse. Here, Bhumi Devi is saying that the Lord's position is always transcendental. Even when he comes to this material world, he remains transcendental. He is not affected by the material interactions, material activities. However, what are all these material activities? They are happening by his external potency, the material energy only. It is not like the material energy is independently acting. However, he is not affected by that in any way. You are transcendental in your position, and by your material energy, you have expanded yourself in various forms and species of life through the of the three modes of material nature. So all these various species, the bodies are his external energy, and the spirit souls are his marginal energy. So it is his energies only which form this material world, and in which there are so many forms and so many interactions. Although it is his energy, still he is not affected by the material creation. So you're not bewildered by material activities. Text 30. The planet Earth continued, My dear Lord, you are the complete conductor of the material creation. You have created this cosmic manifestation and the three material qualities, and therefore you have created me, the planet Earth, the resting place of all living entities. Yet you are always fully independent, my Lord. Now that you are present before me and ready to kill me with your weapons, let me know where I should go to take shelter and tell me who can give me protection. So you are the supreme, and everything is your energy only. And I have been created by you as the resting place of all living entities. If you want to kill me, where can I go? Who can give me protection now in this state? Because you are the ultimate. Is there anyone outside of you who can give me protection? Text 31. In the beginning of creation, you created all these moving and non-moving living entities by your inconceivable energy. Through this very same energy, you are now prepared to protect the living entities. Indeed, you are the supreme protector of religious principles. Why are you so anxious to kill me, even though I am in the form of a cow? Further, text 32. My dear Lord, although you are one, by your inconceivable potencies, you have expanded yourself in many forms Through the agency of Brahma, you have created this universe. You are therefore directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are not sufficiently experienced cannot understand your transcendental activities because these persons are covered by your illusory energy. Yes. So, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. So, those who are covered, he is not visible to those whose eyes are covered by his potency, Maya. Text 33. My dear Lord, by your own potencies, you are the original cause of the material elements, the performing instruments, the senses, the workers of the senses, the controlling deities, the intelligence and the ego, as well as everything else. So you see at the beginning of creation, Lord Karanodakashai Vishnu glances on Prakriti, and Prakriti produces one after another the 23 elements. So in these 23 elements, you have the senses, you have the controlling deities, the material, then you have intelligence, ego, mind, everything. So, and where is all this coming from? It is the transformation of, the three modes, but they are activated by the glance of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, by your own potencies, you are the cause of the material elements and everything else. By your energy, you manifest this entire cosmic creation, maintain it and dissolve it. Through your energy alone, everything is sometimes manifest and sometimes not manifest. You are therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So Bhumi Devi is now surrendering to Pṛthu Maharaj. My dear Lord, you are always unborn. Once in the form of the original boar, Varahadev, you rescued me from the waters in the bottom of the universe. Through your own energy, you created all the physical elements, the senses, and the heart for the maintenance of the world. Text 35. My dear Lord, in this way, you once protected me by rescuing me from the water, and consequently, your name has been famous as Dhara. Dhara, one who is holding the earth, he who holds the planet Earth. Yet at the present moment, in the form of a great hero, you are about to kill me with sharpened arrows. I am, however, just like a boat on the water, keeping everything afloat. 36. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood, and what to speak of your pastimes. Thus, everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. So Bhumi Devi is saying, I'm bewildered that you saved me as Varahadev and now you want to kill me. Who can understand your activities like that? So I think we'll stop here today. I just read one chapter. Next session, we will read chapter 18. You want me to read another one? No, we will. You want me to read, huh? Pṛthu Maharaj milks the earth. Okay, I can read the next chapter. Fine. I'll just read the next chapter. Chapter 18. Pṛthu Maharaj milks the earth. So in this, basically, we'll see who's different personalities coming with different pots. Text 1. The great Saint Maitreya continued to address Vidura. My dear Vidura, at that time, after the planet Earth finished her prayers, King Pṛthu was still not pacified, and his lips trembled in great anger. Although the planet Earth was frightened, she made up her mind and began to speak as follows in order to convince the king. So what is planet Earth saying? My dear Lord, please pacify your anger completely and hear patiently whatever I submit before you. Please turn your kind attention to this. I may be very poor, but a learned man takes the essence of knowledge from all places, just as a bumblebee collects honey from each and every flower. Yes, I'm not a very, great person. I'm, I may not be I may be very poor, but you are very learned, so you should listen. Text 3. To benefit all human society, not only in this life but in the next, the great seers and sages have prescribed various methods conducive to the prosperity of the people in general. One who follows, text 4, one who follows the principles and instructions enjoined by the great sages of the past can utilize these instructions for practical purposes. Such a person can very easily enjoy life and pleasures. Text 5. A foolish person who manufactures his own ways and means through mental speculation and does not recognize the authority of the sages who lay down unimpeachable directions is simply unsuccessful again and again in his attempts. So, a very, very important principle here. Bhumi Devi is telling Pṛthu Maharaj that anyone who follows the instructions and principles that are enjoined by great sages, where do you find them? What great sages are saying, you'll find it in the scriptures. And what do the sages say? They don't make up their own systems. They also speak what is there in scriptures only. Ultimately, the scripture, Shastra, is our authority. The sages will speak only what is there in Shastra. So, those who follow the injunctions given in Shastra as spoken by great sages, they can enjoy life and they can get everything they want. But foolishly, if one rejects the authority of the sages, of the scriptures, and manufactures his own ways and means to become peaceful in this world or to improve things, then they will not be successful. Very important lesson. Text 6. My dear king, the seeds, roots, herbs, and grains which were created by Lord Brahma in the past are now being used by non-devotees who are devoid of all spiritual understanding. So now Bhumi Devi is explaining why she is not delivering the grains and herbs, roots, etc. Why? Because whatever was created by Brahmaji, which she was supposed to deliver, she delivered it, but they're all being used by non-devotees. They're devoid of all spiritual understanding. Text 7. My dear king, not only are grains and herbs being used by non-devotees, but as far as I am concerned, I am not being properly maintained. Indeed, I am being neglected by kings who are not punishing these rascals who have turned into thieves by using grains for sense gratification. Consequently, I have hidden all these seeds which were meant for the performance of sacrifice. This is the point. Sacrifices are stopped. The grains that are produced should be offered in sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. When sacrifices are performed, then all the demigods are satisfied. Bhumi Devi is also satisfied. She is one of the deities, presiding deities. So she is not happy that whatever she is producing is being consumed by those who don't perform any yagya. They are not following any dharma. So therefore, she is withdrawing. Whatever she's supposed to produce, she's withholding. Sorry, she's not giving anymore. Text 8. Due to being stocked for a very long time, all the grain seeds within me have certainly deteriorated. Therefore, you should immediately arrange to take these seeds out by the standard process, which is recommended by the acharyas or shastras. So there is a method how to get from the earth. O great hero, protector of living entities, if you desire to relieve the living entities by supplying them sufficient grain, and if you desire to nourish them by taking milk from me, you should make arrangements to bring a calf suitable for this purpose and a pot in which the milk can be kept, as well as a milkman to do the work. Since I will be very much affectionate towards my calf, your desire to take milk from me will be fulfilled. So Bhumi Devi has so many things to give. She has seeds, fruits, roots, grains, flowers, like that. So many things, minerals. But to give those things, now she's in the form of a cow. When does the cow release her milk? When she sees her calf. So she's saying, bring a suitable calf, because when I'm affectionate to my calf, I will release. And what is that milk? All these things which she's going to give. And also when she gives milk, you need a pot to collect that milk. So she's saying, get a milk pot, get a calf, and also a milkman who will be able to milk her. Text 11. My dear king, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level? Right? She's the one who's saying, you should level my surface. It's ups and downs. This will help me even when the rainy season has ceased. Rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. So if the earth is not leveled, the water will flow down, right? But if it is leveled, the water can be retained and it will stay moist, which is favorable for growing crops. So she's saying you should level my surface. Text 12. After hearing the auspicious and pleasing words of the planet Earth, the king accepted them. He then transformed Swayambhuva Manu into a calf and milked all the herds and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in his cupped hands. So what did Pṛthu Maharaj need? He needed food grains for his citizens and herbs, medicinal plants. So he used his own cupped hands as the milking pot. And who was the calf? Manu. Manu is the father of mankind. Pṛthu Maharaj is the king for the human beings. So he used Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, as the calf, and he collected all the grains in his own cupped hands. Text 13. Others who were as intelligent as King Pṛthu also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow in the footsteps of King Pṛthu and get whatever he desired from the planet Earth. So Pṛthu Maharaj took, then everyone else, there were other personalities from different parts of the universe. They also came to collect their, whatever they needed from the earth. All the great sages transformed Brihaspati. Who is Brihaspati? He's the guru of the demigods. Brihaspati into a calf and making the senses into a pot. So they made their senses into a pot. They milked all kinds of Vedic knowledge to purify words, mind, and hearing. So what is the milk that they got? Vedic knowledge. Where did they collect it? In their senses, like they heard in their ears, like that. Text 15. All the demigods made Indra, so that was sages. Now demigods made Indra, the king of heaven, into a calf, and from the earth they milked the beverage soma, which is nectar, right? Soma, somaras, like the what do you call amrita, that they drink, the beverage that the demigods drink. So nectar, yes. Thus they became very powerful in mental speculation and bodily and sensual strength. Then text 16, the sons of Diti and the demons transformed Prahlad Maharaj, who was born in an Asura family, into a calf, and they extracted various kinds of liquor and beer, which they put into a pot made of iron. Text 17, the inhabitants of Gandharva Loka and Apsara Loka made Vishwavasu into a calf, and they drew the milk into a lotus flower pot. The milk took the shape of sweet musical art and beauty. Musical art also came from Bhumi Devi. The fortunate, text 18, the fortunate inhabitants of Pitraloka who preside over the funeral ceremonies made Aryama into a calf. With great faith, they milked kavya, food offered to the ancestors, into an unbaked earthen pot. Text 19. After this, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka as well as the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka transformed the great sage Kapila into a calf, and making the whole sky into a pot, they milked out specific yogic mystic powers, beginning with anima. Indeed, the inhabitants of Vidyadhara Loka acquired the art of flying in the sky. Text 20. Others also, the inhabitants of planets known as Kimpurusha Loka, made the demon Maya into a calf, and they milked out mystic powers by which one can disappear immediately from another's vision and appear again in a different form. Text 21. Then the yakshas, rakshasas, ghosts, and witches who are habituated to eating flesh transformed Lord Shiva's incarnation Rudra, Bhutanatha, into a calf and milked out beverages made of blood and put them in a pot made of skulls. Text 22. Thereafter, cobras and snakes without hoods, large snakes, scorpions, and many other poisonous animals took poison out of the planet Earth as their milk and kept this poison in snake holes. They made a calf out of takshaka. 23-24. The four-legged animals like the cows made a calf out of the bull who carries Lord Shiva and made a milk pot out of the forest. Thus they got fresh green grasses to eat. Ferocious animals like tigers transformed a lion into a calf, and thus they were able to get flesh for milk. The birds made a calf out of Garuda and took milk from the planet Earth in the form of moving insects and non-moving plants and grasses. Text 25. The trees made a calf out of the banyan tree, not Ashwatha, banyan tree. And thus they derived milk in the form of many delicious juices. The mountains transformed the Himalayas into a calf, and they milked a variety of minerals into a pot made of the peaks of hills. Text 26. The planet Earth supplied everyone his respective food. During the time of King Pṛthu, the earth was fully under the control of the king. Thus, all the inhabitants of the earth could get their food supply by creating various types of calves and putting their particular types of milk in various pots. This is during the reign of Pṛthu Maharaj. Text 27. My dear Vidura, chief of the Kurus, in this way King Pṛthu and all the others who subsist on food created different types of calves and milked out their respective eatables. Thus they received their various foodstuffs which were symbolized as milk. Text 28. Thereafter, King Pṛthu was very satisfied with the planet Earth, for she sufficiently supplied all food to various living entities. Thus, he developed an affection for the planet Earth, just as if she were his own daughter. Text 29. After this, the king of all kings, Maharaj Pṛthu, leveled all rough places on the surface of the globe by breaking up the hills with the strength of his bow. By his grace, the surface of the globe almost became flat. Text 30. To all the citizens of the state, King Pṛthu was as good as a father. Thus, he was visibly engaged in giving them proper subsistence and proper employment for subsistence. After leveling the surface of the globe, he earmarked different places for residential quarters inasmuch as they were desirable. So after he leveled the surface of the earth, he divided it. This part is for residential places, and then, where food is grown, like that. Text 31. In this way, the king founded many types of villages, settlements, and towns, and built forts, residences for cowherdsmen, stables for the animals, places for the royal camps, mining places, agricultural towns, and mountain villages. City planning. Originally done by Pṛthu Mahārāja. Text 32. Before the reign of King Pṛthu, there was no planned arrangement for different cities, villages, pasturing grounds, etc. Everything was scattered, and everyone constructed his residential quarters according to his own convenience, like here. However, from the time of King Pṛthu, plans were made for towns and villages. That's the end of chapter 18. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So session 4, we will continue. Next session will be chapters 19